If you're going into university or college, here's everything you need to bring with you. As an international student, I had to pack everything I wanted up into a few checked bags, so I know what you need to bring and what is going to waste your space. The first category of things you need is your bedding, because your bed you're going to need from day one. So I would recommend getting some kind of mattress topper because the mattresses at your college are probably not going to be very nice or very comfortable. But I don't think you need to go over the top and get like a giant padded foam thing to like extend the bed. Just a simple mattress topper will do. And then I would bring 2 sets of sheets so that you can switch them out without having to do laundry, because as a college student you can get pretty busy and sometimes your laundry doesn't happen as fast as it normally would. Then I would bring whatever amount of pillows you want, probably not as many as you think. You don't need a gazillion decorative throw pillows because they're just going to take up your space and you're probably not always going to make your bed, so then they'll just be like sitting around on the floor, and that's not really a good use of space in your small dorm room. So I would bring like 2 pillows to sleep on, maybe 1 throw pillow. And a tip for packing your pillows or your duvet, which you're going to need, or your comforter, is to get a vacuum seal bag and just pump the air out of it and then pop it in the dryer when you get to your school so that you can have like it not take up as much space, or you can just kind of compress it and put it into a bag of your own. Then I would get a duvet or a comforter of some sort, and then if where you're going to school gets cold, I would bring an extra quilt or wool blanket. Then for bath stuff, bring a few towels, a few hand towels, and a few washcloths. If you're sharing a bathroom and it isn't connected to your dorm room, then it would be great to bring a shower caddy and then some kind of flip-flops so you don't have to like be drying off your feet and trying to carry everything while you're in the shared bathroom. Most freshmen that I know didn't have a kitchen, but it's still nice to have a few kitchen-y items so that you can have food on your own or transport food or heat it up. So if you're allowed to, I would definitely get a kettle, just an electric one that like you can plug in and boil water super quickly. I had tea almost every day, and then you can also make instant noodles or oatmeal. And then along with that, it's good to have like a few bowls or plates or Tupperware, not too many, but just a few, so you can have your like any quick food like cereal or yogurt or anything that you've heated up, and then a mug or 2. I don't think you really need glasses because you can just use the mug for any kind of drink that you're having, and then some silverware so that you can eat anything, and a towel, like just a washcloth or towel to wipe up any kind of spills you make, or to dry off or clean your like bowls and plates. And also I would get just like a multi-purpose cleaning concentrate, preferably a non-toxic one that you can use to clean anything, so your dishes, your sink, your room, whatever you need. As far as toiletries, hair care, makeup, skincare, all of that kind of thing, I found it really useful to have just little like bags and know what everything is in it, so that I can easily put that in a drawer or in my bag if I'm going somewhere, and I don't need some kind of organizer or display for it because that's just going to take up more space that you don't have, and it'll probably make your room look more cluttered, which isn't great when you're in a small cramped space. So I would just have like little bags for each thing so that you can have those and know what goes in each of them. For your closet or your clothing storage, if you have a closet and you have hanging space, definitely bring hangers or some kind of hanging organizers. Also, I found that it was nice to just have like a little foldable like basket thing that I could throw all of my activewear in, or just anything that I didn't want to deal with folding that's not going to wrinkle, that I don't need it to be preserved nicely, so that I didn't have to waste time like folding or hanging it up. As far as clothing goes, really just bring whatever you're going to need for your where you live, your climate, and what you like wearing. But a few tips I have are, you don't necessarily need a ton of pajamas. You can kind of just reuse like a big t-shirt that you wear to work out for as pajamas, or sweatpants also as pajamas. So that way you're not bringing as much stuff, but you still have all the items that you need. This is also dependent on if you do your wash regularly enough, which I definitely would recommend. I also feel like the turnaround time for laundry is pretty quick because you're doing it yourself, so you can get it done in an afternoon, washed and dried. And if you are like me and you don't like putting a lot of your clothes in the dryer, just get a like foldable drying rack. I'll link one below. That way you can like put that next to your radiator or your heater and get your clothes dried without having to either pay for the dryer or damage your clothes in the dryer. For shoes, I would recommend bringing like 1 to 2 just regular pairs of shoes for your everyday life that you're able to walk around in comfortably. So I brought a pair of Converse for that. And then I brought a pair of Doc Martens that were kind of my in-between, that I could wear to some nicer things, but that were still comfortable enough for me to wear just on a day-to-day basis. Then I would bring 1 pair of gym shoes or running shoes. I would bring flip-flops, which are just useful for if you're going to be, sharing a bathroom or just having something to throw on. Then I would bring, honestly, just like 1 pair of heels. I don't think you need them as much as you might think you do. I go to a school where there are a lot of formal events, and having 1 pair of heels was plenty because they went with everything. And then I also had a pair of wellies and a pair of combat boots, but those were not combat boots, cowboy boots, which were just kind of my fun shoes that I could wear. Or, I guess the wellies weren't very fun, but I live in a place where it's very rainy, so those were useful if I was going on like a late night grocery store run and I didn't want to have to lace up a shoe or get my shoes messy. As for formal dresses, I also wouldn't bring as many as you think you might need. If you have events that you know are going to happen and you have specific dresses you want to wear to them, then definitely bring them. But if not, you can always borrow dresses from people there. There was one girl at my school, and she basically was like the girl known for giving out her dresses and having people wear them. I wore one to my like rowing dinner, and it was really nice. And my school also had a dress closet program where like there were dresses that anyone could just borrow, which maybe look into if your school has that, but you probably don't need as many as you may think. And I also found that I didn't need to buy new dresses for events because I just reused old like homecoming or prom dresses that I used in high school. Other random extras that you definitely don't need but that I liked having with me were a hot water bottle, because sometimes it was really cold and I could just pour the water from my kettle into the hot water bottle and it would help me fall asleep. I also have a red light night light that it's like motion activated, and I just plug it in and leave it there. And so at night, if I need to get up, it doesn't disrupt my circadian rhythm. It's not super bright, and I can just kind of see my way around my room easier. I brought an umbrella because where I go to school is very rainy. I brought push pins because I have a big cork board in my room that I could just pin stuff up. But obviously only get those if you know that your room is going to have that. Or you could get a cork board. It was kind of nice to have so I could just swap stuff out and like have anything I needed that was important, or have a form of decoration that wasn't like taking up a ton of space. I also brought just a calculator, a stapler, a pocket knife to have tools that anytime I need it. I brought a speaker, which might not be a great thing to have, but there were a lot of times where I was playing it in my room. I don't know if other people could hear. Or when my friends would go to the garden and we would just have like a speaker playing, which was nice. But if someone else in your friend group has that, then you probably don't need it. I wouldn't really bring paper. Usually you can take paper or like notebook supplies. I'm more of a digital person for my notes, so I wouldn't go out and like spend a ton of money on a fresh set of school supplies unless that's something that you enjoy. And I brought one handbag for formal events that I have, so it's a little like Kate Spade black leather handbag, and I only needed one of those because like I don't need something to try to match with tons of different dresses. It just kind of fits with everything. Another thing that I brought the first term, and then I think I brought it back because I didn't really use it enough, but a little diffuser is nice to have, because if you can't like have, obviously a flame going in a dorm with a candle, a diffuser is a great way to just have some scent in your room. And if you get one that has like either that is water or that you just put on like little cardboard tablets, that's what I had, and you can put essential oils so you can have a non-toxic scent but also one that's like gonna help your mood, and it'll maybe make your room feel more like home. Where I go to university, I have to move in and out of my room 3 times during the school year, so some tips that helped me with that were those vacuum seal bags. Just putting anything that, like wool sweaters, scarves, bedding, anything that I think moths or insects could get into the vacuum sealed bags, and sealing them, making sure that there is no chance that those can get ruined. And then also, when you have everything in little bags like your toiletries or whatnot, I even kept a lot of my t-shirts just in like a packing cube, and like I would fold them up and leave them in a packing cube in a drawer so that it was super easy to take and just put in my luggage, which might feel like, oh, you're not really moving in, you're not making yourself at home. But I feel like you kind of, like, it's still, you're able to use it, it's there when you need, and it's way faster to clean up. And I would put them in the drawers, so it's not like they were just sitting out or I still had my suitcases open. And if you have anything that is in a box, like my kettle came in a box and my hangers came in a box, I kept those boxes. I just put them like at a cupboard at the very top of my like closet, and I still use those and put everything in there where I'm trying to pack up. My last tip is that instead of getting a ton of decor specifically for your room or getting a lot of new furniture or like large items, try to repurpose what you already have that you're going to need in your dorm room as some kind of, you know, display. Like you can have your perfumes laid out and that can look really pretty, or your jewelry. I would bring like just one jewelry case with very minimal stuff, because I feel like you don't need a ton. Like at home I have so much jewelry, but I kind of forget about it and I tend to wear the same pieces every day. So just have that in mind when you're packing and bring as little as you can, but you can also use those things as your displays, as your, you know, decoration to make your room feel more personalized. My one piece of decor that I have that's like actually decor, it still has somewhat of a function, but I have this little like glass or crystal little bowl that I put on my bedside table, and I can throw like little candies in there or my keys or jewelry, whatever I need. And so it's still like catching everything, which is nice because there's not a ton of storage in dorm rooms, but it is also like serving a purpose and it looks good. I will leave a full list in the description and links to the products I talked about that I really enjoyed having as a college student. Thanks for watching!